Buckle up, YouTube. You're about to watch a sped up version of me making cheese broccoli soup.
This recipe is brought to you by Avery Cooks, and bless her for it, because I looked for years for a cheese broccoli soup recipe that I liked, and I was not satisfied until I found hers probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little bit more. But we're going to start by chopping up our vegetables, and I've got 2 broccoli crowns that I'm just roughly chopping up here, and I am also including, as you can see, the stems of the broccoli. I'm just kind of giving it a rough chop. The size of the pieces of vegetables that you put in your soup is really up to your personal preference, but do be aware that the larger chunks are going to take a little bit longer to cook than smaller chunks. And I'm just going to add that to my bowl. I'm going to reserve the broccoli and the carrots until a little bit later on. I'm just chopping everything up to get everything done so that once the vegetables and everything start touching the heat, it can go pretty quickly. And here I am chopping up the carrots into rounds. I will say, after making this recipe again, I do prefer using chopped carrots instead of carrot rounds. But it was still good. If you do rounds, well, either way, just be aware, if you leave them too large, the carrots will take a pretty good amount of time to finish cooking. Be very careful. Alright, last thing that we have to chop is going to be our onion, and I'm just chopping half an onion for right now. You'll see I don't chop onions the way a lot of chefs do it, because I take advantage of the natural layering of the onion. I don't really like to cut the onion towards my hand and that extra little step that they do. Before we get the garlic ready, we're going to go ahead and melt our butter in our pot. I'm using about a 4-quart stock pot this time. And when our butter is melted, we're going to toss in our onions. I'm trying to do that one-handed. So make sure you mince your garlic up nice and small. If you've got a garlic press, you're lucky. I don't have that. My sister does, and I was spoiled when I was at her house using that. And when the onion is a little bit translucent, you want to go ahead and add your flour, and we're essentially making a roux with the onion still in the pot. And you can do this, you just need to make sure that you stir it pretty regularly so it doesn't burn. And once it's about done, go ahead and add your garlic. You don't want to add your garlic too early though. Just about 30 seconds or long enough to get it warm. If you cook the garlic too long, it'll start to get a bitter taste. And then I added my chicken, you can either use chicken stock or vegetable stock to cool off the cooking process and stop the garlic from burning. And once your stock has thickened a little bit, you can add the seasonings. And the cream. And while the soup is cooking, you also need to be shredding your cheese. And I didn't get footage of that, but I was having my husband do that in the background. And I'm going ahead and adding my broccoli and my carrots. And that cooked for about 20 minutes before I actually added the cheese. The cheese is the very last thing. You add it after the vegetables are already soft. So you're really just melting the cheese, and you want to get a good quality cheese. Don't buy pre-shredded or it will not melt properly. And there you have it.